Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome to the stage, Handren Seavey!
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I loved Michael Jordan growing up, but for some reason, when I cut my hair like Michael Jordan, it looked like I did not like Michael Jordan. Or like anybody on his team. Except, no, Tony Kukoc. I would have been into Tony Kukoc. He was the white guy on the Bulls, if you don't know. Yeah, if you saw a little 12-year-old skinhead with a Bulls jersey, you're like, yeah, I bet he's a Kukoc fan. Yeah. He is part of the Kukoc clan, that kid. I'm 31. And yeah, no, don't clap for that at all. Never do. I don't even want a fucking sympathy clap. No. 31 is that there's a good 10 years where you just go, okay, that's your age. But I remember, like, when I turned 30, and then even this year, people start being like, oh, you're getting up there. And like, oh, when you turn 30, they're like, oh, you're leaving your 20s. And I was fine with all of it. The worst year to leave was 28. That's a tough one. Anybody coming up on 28 here? We got some people, I mean, like, eventually in life, yes? Oh, okay, cool. Because, like, you know how you get new privileges as you get older? Like, you turn 16, you get to drive. 18, it's voting and, what was it? Voting and what's it, when you're 18, you get, no, jail, that's it. Voting in jail. Which I would totally give up voting if it meant I didn't have to go to jail. If that was like an even swap, I'd be like, fine, I'll never do it. Because like one of those is real. But then like 21, it's like drinking, and then psyched about that one. And then when, what is it, 25, it's a rental car. And then it's pretty much downhill from there until I realized this, 28, first time you get to legally sleep with someone 10 years younger than you. Yeah, I think we can drink to that. Here's the tough thing, though. 29, it's 11 years. But then when you turn 30, it's still 11 years. 30-year-olds don't fuck 18-year-olds. That's not, like, it's weird that there's an underage law, but there's no overage law. Like, I think that should also be a thing. Like, if you're 18, like, technically, you can fuck a 100-year-old. That shouldn't be able to, like, if you're over 100, it's only other 100-year-olds for you. I think that should be a law. I think, like, once you reach 100, you have to pick another one out and start fucking. Just for science, you know what I mean? Like, so who knows what happened? Maybe that's how you get, like, a Benjamin Button baby. We don't know. A couple 100-year-olds bang, pop out a 6-year-old baby. We don't know. I rode my bike here tonight because I ride a bike around. I sold my car when I moved down here, and that was scary to be like, there goes backup house. But sold my car, and I got a bike, I started biking around. I live in Cambridge, and I wear a helmet and maybe sometimes a light at night. That's as far as I go, like, safety-wise. But I live in Cambridge, and I'll see people with just, like, reflective pants and reflective vests and, like, lights on everywhere and mirrors. And I just think, how dumb do you feel when you still get hit? And you were just blinking in the ground, like, fuck, didn't he see me? You're like, no, he saw you. That is why he hit you. I skateboard, too. I'm 31, and I skateboard. That's a tough age to be and still skateboard. Because, like, when I was 16, people would, like, shake their fists, and they're like, you're gonna ruin your life. And now they're like, you ruined your life. And if I can hold on like another 10, 20 years or so, it'll be cool again, because then it'll be like, hey, skateboard grandpa, fuck yeah. It's gonna be a tough time till then. I was skateboarding by this guy the other day, and he was on rollerblades, and he like tipped his hat at me. I was like, fuck you, no, go fuck yourself. We are not the same. And then I was like, oh, we're both over 30, disappointing our parents, yes. Tip a hat to you, sir. I'm 31, and I realized that my parents they don't see me as an adult, because they went on a vacation recently, and they got me something. They came back and they're like, we got you a present, and it was a medium shirt. Like, what size shirt do you think I wear? No, a fucking large. I wear a goddamn large. If extra medium were a thing, I would probably wear that. But it's not. I wear a goddamn large. I had to tell that to my parents. I was like, I am an adult now. I wear a large. I need you to see me that way. My dad was like, you still need help paying your health insurance? I was like, sure do. Yep. He goes, here's your fucking medium shirt then. And I was like, touche. Joke's on you, makes a great bass layer. I think also they have trouble seeing me as an adult because I'm the youngest. I'm the baby. Anybody else the baby out here? We got any other youngest? Yeah. I'm the youngest of 3 boys too, and my other brothers are 5 and 9 years older than me, which means I was supposed to be a girl or an accident. That's the only way that math works out. Nobody 5 years after 2 dudes is like, you know what this party needs? Another dude. Yeah. Let's make this a 3-pack of sausages, am I right? And I feel like they just gave up on me at that point because I'm the only one who was on purpose born at home. Other 2 born in a hospital. Me, they were like, another boy? Well, we got it. And then I was 11 pounds when I was born. Yeah, my other brother was only 6 pounds. There's only a difference of 5 pounds. Not a big difference, unless it's coming out of your vagina. That is a noticeable difference. That's like another baby's worth of difference. My mom is just like, is it twins? Or like, only if he ate the other one. No, I don't. Just the one giant-headed one. I don't know. And then it gets worse, too, because I'm also the only one who is uncircumcised. Yeah, that's weird for you to find out. I get that. I'm gonna say weirder for me to find out. I was like, really? Both of them? Okay, yeah. But uncircumcised, born at home, they were like, let's see what happens if we do nothing. Just roll the dice with this one. You know what? No shots either. Let's really just go rogue. I want to say I don't like that word uncircumcised. I am not the und one. Okay, they are unforeskin. That is on them. Don't make up a word to make me feel weird, okay? This is the factory model. They decide to rip the spoiler off. That is on them. I love whenever somebody claps during that because I go, that guy has a foreskin. That's not why I do this joke. Like, I'm not looking for my hooded brothers out there. When I was like 20, I was like, I got to get to the bottom of this, and so yeah, it's a weird like, I'm on the case, and sat my parents down. I was like, you got to tell me, like, why didn't you why'd you get me circumcised? And my dad goes, shit, we didn't. That take-home birth list was long. I'm gonna be honest with you. We skipped some steps. You might have lupus too, I don't know. And I was like, what do you mean you did? Like, are you fucking kidding? Like, you never noticed changing me growing up is a little different than the other ones? He goes, that? Yeah, I thought you'd grow out of that. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. And ladies, I do grow out of it. I grew up in Maine. It was a small, sleepy town in Maine, about 2,000 people or so, and it was a very boring place to grow up in. So we used to have to think of a lot of things to do to pass the time, and pretty much we ended up just coming up with a bunch of ways to fuck with people. That's all we would do all the time. Did anybody ever do any of those crazy pranks growing up as a kid? Yeah. Gary? What did you do? Ding dong ditch. Well, that's a real clever one. Ooh, we're bad. Well, I used to do this one. We would do it, and it was called the shit purse. Exactly how it sounds. Exactly. We would go and buy up a bunch of old purses from Goodwill and shit, and then we would go wait for my friend's pug to poop, and then we would fork that in the purse. And then we put that in the middle of the road, and then we sit and we wait. And it was a little town, so we would only get passersby. Everybody in the town knew we did it. So they were like, is that a raggedy person? No. And usually people would stop and they'd either pick it up and look at it and be like, oh, gross. And then we'd jump out and laugh at them like they were the idiots. It's like... They're like, wait, it was a purse in the road? Why wouldn't I stop? Wait, you went and bought up purses and waited for a dog to shit? How am I the dumb one here? We're like, whatever, idiot. Or they'd pick it up and they'd drive off and then you just see it chucked out the window halfway up the road and you're like, yes! But the best time that something ever happened with that is we put it in the road and we're sitting and waiting, and this car drives by and it stops, picks it up, and then it just drives off. We're like, oh, that is even better. Because who knows what happened there? And then I had to go to work later that day, and I went to work at the little village store, and I walk in, and my boss goes, you boys doing that shit purse today? Because everybody knew we did it, yeah. And I was like, yeah, why? What'd you hear? What'd you hear? And he goes, well, my father-in-law picked it up. I was like, go on. He goes, he's a bit of a upstanding older gentleman. He decided it wasn't right to go rummaging through some lady's purse, so he brought it to the town office. He thought that was the only proper thing to do. Let the officials sort it out. I'm not gonna get involved. And then it's just a bunch of sweet old ladies that work there. They're good. They're just such nice people, and they're like, oh no, under town code 459, we can't go looking through purses. We need an official. So they called the one cop in the town who had caught us doing it before. And he just walked in and was like, what is it? You found a ratty old purse in the road? Yeah, it's filled with shit. And then just walked out. They're just like, how did he know? Also, times are tough, huh? We also used to do this one called, we call it the duct tape. Again, we're not real clever with naming shit. What we would do is we put a strip of duct tape across the road, sticky side up, and you roll an empty can in each end, and then you sit and wait. A lot of our plans were just put shit in the road and then sit and wait. It was not a lot to do. There wasn't. So we'd put it there and we'd sit and wait, and then a car would come by and it would pick it up and it would just be like, whap, bap, 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 and it sounds like your engine fell out of your car, but does no damage. It is amazing. It's the best trick because people get so mad. They're like, holy fuck, and then they stop and they get out and they just see duct tape and then they look around and they're like, who did this? They're around, and you just get to watch rage happen. But we were doing it one time, and we'd put it out there, and we were like sitting, we were waiting, and we were like, oh, this is gonna be a good one. And then we look, and there's a motorcycle coming yeah, we didn't think of that either. We were like, oh, fuck, we set a murder trap. And so we run out to try and like flag the guy down and be like, stop, don't go. And he just sees a bunch of kids like just waving their hands being like, sweet motorcycle, that's fucking awesome. And he's just like, yeah, the wife told me not to get it, but it is. But luckily he doesn't pick it up. He just goes right over it. But the cop right behind him totally picked it up. And we were just out there waving going, we did it. This was us. And he stopped and he got out and he was like, freeze. And we all like went to run. And one of my friends just goes, run to the lake. And we're like, that is a genius idea. It wasn't even because it was just somebody was thinking ahead of the time. Like the rest of us were just in the moment like, what do we do? And then somebody was like, a plan. We're like, yes. And then we ran to the lake thinking car can't get us in the lake. And he just got out. He just got out of the car and came into the, like, it turns out they're people, guys. They're just people too. I know it's tough sometimes because they act like animals, but cops are people too. See, that's weird. That's weird. It's weird for me to even talk about cops because I grew up in such a small town in Maine that it's like I have no view of cops. Like, for me, hating the cops is like, you hate Gary? Gary, what the fuck did you do? Gary did... And Gary's just like, I'm sorry, buddy, you want to touch my gun? You're like, that's not it, Gary. Like, the worst thing that ever happened to me with cops was I walked out of a bar in Portland, and I walk out, and 2 cruisers just pull up out of nowhere. 4 cops get out, and they, like, run up to me, and they're like, up against the wall, we need to see your ID. And, like, outside, I'm flipping out, and I'm like, I have amendments or rights or whatever. I'm not sure. I'm new at this. But inside, I was like, hey, I get a cop moment. And then it just turns out they were looking for some underage drinkers, and it was like 11 o'clock on a Sunday. I was like, I get it. It's sad. I'm going home. I'm sorry. And then I walk to the corner, and there's a guy on the corner, and he sees me, and he just shakes my hand. And he goes, hey, man, I saw that. That was crazy. Here's some Molly. Handed me a handful of Molly. That's how my police brutality story ends. Getting a handful of Molly, taking it, and then just going and looking for other people to touch me. I'm like, I gotta find some other, yeah, pat me down, pat me down. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I just feel like cops are like, see something, say something. And everybody's like, I think I saw that cop murder a guy. And they're like, shut the fuck up about that. This happened to me the other night. I was going to a show. I had 2 shows in one night. And so I stopped at like 7:30 to get a coffee before the first show. It was at a 7-Eleven, and the lady was like, ooh, coffee at 7:30? You're going to be up all night. And I was like, I've done cocaine. I don't know what you think is in this coffee, but it is not 100% Colombian. That is for sure. Okay, cocaine stuff, a little edgy for you guys. I get it. Sometimes it's weird. Like, you talk about weed or booze on stage, people are like, woo! You talk about Coke, people are like, why are you talking about Coke? Do you have any? No? Then shut up! And you're like, oh. Sorry, I did not realize. But it's true. When I was like, I don't do any of that anymore, but when I was like 19, 20 years old, I dated a girl who went to art school, so because of that, I got to try all of the drugs. That's where they all are, if anybody's wondering. That's actually how they do their art, is they take a bunch of drugs, and then they paint some shit, and then they get clean, paint some not-so-good shit, and then they relapse, paint some really good shit, and then they die and sell art, and that's how art works, if anybody's wondering. But I was hanging out there one day, and this guy comes up to me, and he goes, hey, man, you want to do some coke? And I was like, fuck yeah. And he goes, well, I don't have any. I was like, well, that's mean. Why would you... Going just trying to call out people? And he goes, no, I can get some if you drive me to Worcester to get some. And this was from Portland, Maine, too. I was like, I don't want to do that just because that's like bad business practice. It's like going into an Apple store and they're like, hey, man, you want a free iPhone? You're like, fuck yeah. And they're like, let's go to China and get one then. then you just see all the sweatshops and shit, and you're like, I don't think I want an iPhone anymore. That's what it's like going to Worcester. So I'm driving this guy to Worcester, and he's telling me all his drug dealer ideas on the way. Anybody spent a lot of time with a drug dealer, they always got other plans. Like, oh, this is what I'm really into. And you're like, I don't think you're really into that. But he's telling me his plans. He's like, I'm gonna make a box company, but it's a different kind of box. You don't put things in it, you put things on it. And I was like, that's a table? You are not gonna do any of that. I think you're gonna sell drugs. That's what you do. And basically, we get there, and he goes, look, I gotta say, we're not going to the guy's house. And I was like, okay, maybe that's better. Maybe that's better. And he goes, we're going to a road. And I was like, that's not better. That is not better. And he goes, no, here's what's gonna happen. We're going to drive along this road. He's going to pass by us. We're going to whip around. We're going to catch up to him. I'm going to take this softball of money. I'm going to throw it into his window. He's going to take a softball of cocaine, throw it into our window. And then the craziest thing is that all worked perfectly. That all went exactly according to plan. That is not how that should end. That should end with like, and then the cops solved the easiest crime ever to solve. They're like, how'd you know it was those two? Well, there was the cloud of cocaine and the money everywhere. So, but nope, straight back to Maine, doing a bunch of coke. That same guy one time, he sold me and my girlfriend some acid, and I'm gonna assume some of you don't know how acid works, but it's usually it's like a little tab of paper, and they take a little drop of the acid and they drop it on. But I think this guy was like, save time, dunk it in, because it was just way more than we wanted. It was just like kept getting more and more, and it was like being on like a roller coaster that just kept clicking up. You're like, oh well, eventually we're gonna go down. And then it just keeps going up. And you're like, stop the ride. Stop it. I'll walk back from here. I can't come down from here. Are you fucking kidding me? And it just got so much. We were in our apartment, and it just kept getting skinnier. And we're like, we gotta get... Everybody that just laughed there has done acid before. They're like, you just described that perfectly. Yes, the room gets skinnier. But basically, we're like, we got to get out of here. We gotta go somewhere. So we decided to go to the Western Prom, a nice place you can look over the whole city and stuff. We're like, that'll be good on acid. And we get there, we're laying on the grass for about a half hour, and she turns to me and she goes, hey, does it feel like if you let go of the grass, you're gonna fall into the sky? And I was like, thank you for saying something. Yes. So we decided we gotta go back home, but like get up very carefully, like don't let go. Just hang on, just hold on to one blade. Grip with your toes. We walk back to the apartment, and by this time it's a shoebox. We get there, she's just like, we're like trying to figure out how to get through it, and we just decided, we're like, I think we gotta have sex. I think that's the only way to, like two people stuck in the cold, like gotta huddle for warmth, but like our minds were stuck in the cold. We're like, we gotta bring them together. Together we will defeat this. But that was a bad idea because we had plaid sheets. I don't know if you ever looked at plaid on acid, but it's not. I was just on top of her going, I'm fucking melting into this shit. Never gonna make it out of here. Just every 3 seconds looking at her going, did I just come? She's like, no, you didn't come. And then like 3 seconds later, like, did I just come? She's like, you just asked that 3 seconds ago. I was like, it's been a lifetime for me. I've met her kids, they're great. Weird moral to the story, never came. I don't know if that's something acid helps you with, but I say go for it. I'm also kind of glad. I don't know how I would have dealt with that on acid of just like, no! Those are all my friends. Oh, I know them all by name. That's Ted, Tom. Just a lot of T's. I'm older now. I'm an adult. I don't do that anymore. I have a very nice girlfriend now. We actually, me and my girlfriend, we met online. Anybody else here meet their significant other online? Excellent. 3 people are telling the truth, and the rest of you are fucking lying. Okay, that's... The rest of you have been in 15-year relationships? No? Then you met online. You did. Because even if you met the person in person, you immediately went home and like, I gotta find out about this fucking person. Me and my girlfriend, we met online. She does not know that, but we did. We met online. She thinks I found her dog, but no, we met online. We did. Google Earth. It's a hell of a website. It is a great way to meet people. We met online. We live together now. I moved into her place. She has a small place, so when I moved in, it's kind of like a big 2-room studio. We decided to build a loft bed to like give us some more room, and she like asked me, she's like, you can build a loft bed, right? And I like grew up on a farm in Maine, and I was like, fuck yeah, I can build a loft bed. And then inside I was like, how the fuck am I gonna build this goddamn loft bed? And then I found some old blueprints from a treehouse I built when I was a kid, and I was like, crossed out no girls allowed sign, boom, loft bed. And so I built it, and I was like, the first night I was like, just to make sure this is safe, I think we should have sex up here. Make sure everything's all sturdy and stuff. I know, I tricked her that night. It never worked again. And so we did, and all I can think is our upstairs neighbors just going, why are they so close now? Why can we hear that so fucking well? Like, how long would it take you to even realize it's coming from the floor? We're just walking around, is it this? No, it's not them. No, they got divorced. Where the fuck? And then just like Jurassic Park, you just see the water quiver. And you're like, oh my God. And then I hope they were just like, ear to the floor. How are they doing this? Do you think it's a swing? Is it a swing? How is this happening? And then I just hope they were like that, because when I like finished and I came, I like picked my head up and I fucking nailed my head on the ceiling. So I just want them to be like, oh my God, he just blew himself to the ceiling. He just came and blew himself to the ceiling. Or even better, he came and blew her to the ceiling. Or maybe she came and blew herself to the ceiling. We met online, and because of that, I lived in Portland, Maine at the time, and she lived down here, and so we had a long-distance relationship for a little while. And she asked me one time if I want to try this. She was like, hey, we should try Skype sex. And I was like, oh, this is something new and different. All right. Turns out it's just masturbating the internet. That is all it is. Except this video wants to keep chatting afterwards. And you're like, I am done. I don't know, like, what, are you gonna watch me clean up? No, we're done. We're done here. That's weird. That's weird that that's where we're at, like, sexually. Like, we don't even have to watch internet porn now. We can just be like, let's just do it together from miles apart. Like, because, like, I'm 31, and I feel like I'm the last generation of people to carry on their dad's porn fetish. Anybody else? You got it before I even said it. I like that. You guys don't follow me. Follow me. Because think about it. If you are like, you're like 10, 12 now, you start thinking those dirty thoughts, you just get to go to a computer and type in whatever you're thinking. It's like, what if there were 13 dicks? And then boom, you see that video, whether you want to or not. It just impresses itself, and you're just like, I gotta chase that dragon for the rest of my life. Look for that perfect 13 dick video. But I just had to be into whatever porn of my dad's I could find lying around. And that's weird to just be into whatever your dad's into, because it's usually mom. That's mom, yeah. You're just flipping through going, who does this remind me of? I would steal my dad's VHS tapes. I'd steal my dad's VHS tapes, and I didn't want him to know that I'd taken them, so I'd rewind it back to where it was when I took it. And I realized all I was doing was going, just gotta find that part where Dad came. Just gotta get back to that sweet spot where Papa likes it, you know what I mean? Oddly, it was where the dude was just alone and nobody was bothering him. That is nice. I can come to that. Oh, some light jazz playing and a guy just hanging out. I got caught once stealing both my dad's porn and his weed same time. Yeah, twofer. I call that one. Because this is what happened was I was like 17 and I came home from school. I was gonna go meet some friends at the movies, and I come home and there's only one car in the driveway. And I'm like, all right, maybe nobody's home, and it's my dad's car that's here, and he keeps his weed in his car, so I'm gonna go see if anybody's home. And I walk inside and I go, hello! And if a teenager ever does that, just walks in and yells, they had some dirty shit in their head. They want, and they need to get to it so quick they can't even check room by room. They're just like, I'm gonna just hit the fire alarm, see if anybody comes out. No, we're good here. Nobody says anything, so I'm like, all right, nobody's here. My dad keeps his weed in his car. I am gonna masturbate in the living room. Because, again, we didn't have, like, a computer room or anything like that. So I was like, hey, Daddy gets the big TV today. And so I do that, and then I go out, and I pinch a little bowl of weed, and I smoke that. And then before I leave to go meet my friends at the movies, I'm like, I'm going to feed the dog because I'm a good kid. And I walk inside, and as I'm pouring food for the dog, I just hear my mom behind me go, stealing your dad's weed now, are we? And I was like, holy fuck, where the hell did that ninja come from? She goes, look, you know he smokes, he knows you smoke, just talk about it, it's weird. And then I didn't even see her. I never saw her. I never got up from feeding the dog. Maybe it didn't happen. Because she just floated off just as quietly as she came. I'm like, oh, God. And I freak out, and I leave the house for 3 days. I was like, I'll let this one blow over. Let's see what happens. And I leave the house, and I try and sneak back in late at night, and I come in, and I go to my bed, but they heard me come in, and my dad comes to the door, and he, knocks on the door, and he's like, look, your mom told me what happened. And I was like, what did she do? I mean, what happened? What happened? What do you think happened? He goes, one, I want to say you should not have gotten high and driven your car. That's dangerous. And I was like, you keep your weed in your car. So go ahead and next. He goes, all right, you want to be like that? Don't steal my fucking weed. And I was like, give me your guy's number and I wouldn't have to. Don't be stingy about that shit. But what was weird is masturbation never brought up. Never brought up. Because that's how my family rolls. They're like, experimenting with drugs, not cool. But experimenting with yourself, you can fucking go for it. We'll stay in the bedroom. You take the living room. Also, that would have been weird if my mom was just like, you know your father masturbates, he knows you masturbate, just talk about it, it's weird. Disgusted about the whole thing. She was a woman in a house with 5 guys, just like, everybody's jerking off around here. Or if my dad was just like, hey, buddy, you shouldn't have jerked off and driven. That's real dangerous. You could fall asleep right away. Trust me, it's how I go to sleep every night. No, oh, shit. I have trouble watching porn now, though. That's the weird thing, because, like, I hate injustice, and I literally don't know if you were for or against it. That was such a, like, that was just a car horn. Just move along. I hate injustice, and that's why I have trouble watching porn, because when I think about how much less those men make, it fucking disgusts me. It is. You know that, like, a woman will get paid like $2,000 for a porn scene, and a guy will get like $40. And if he complains at all and he's like, hey, I think I should get paid more, they're like, hold that thought. Does anybody else want to fuck this woman? Okay, so we're good. Thanks for your interest. Move along. He's like, never mind, I'm back in. They're like, okay, we gotta fuck the dude. But no, I also hate how women are treated in porn. I don't like seeing that. Like, that's why I found the best thing to watch is bisexual orgies. That's the way to go. Because then you just get to feel bad for everybody. It's real nice. Because I hate in a porn film if, like, a guy, like, just jizzes on a girl's face. But if a guy jizzes on a girl's face and turns, someone jizzes on his face, you're like, that is justice. Right? Oh, yeah, I can come to that. And if they time it right, it's like it went through a wormhole and he hit himself in the face. You time it right, hit yourself in the face, you're like, I am part of this. This is great. I'm telling you, check it out. Oh. I don't know if you guys can tell this about me, but I don't have any money. I'm very poor. I owe a lot of it to this real sassy broad, Sally Mae. I don't know if anybody else in here talks. Does anybody else talk to her on a regular basis? She's kind of a bitch. She is. It's for student loans. For those of you who don't know, Sally Mae is the one crushing America's youth. But I have to talk to her a lot. Does anybody actually here get calls about their student loans? No, you were all doing better than me. I had no idea I appealed to such an affluent audience. This is great. Oh, God, I get calls from her. It was such a nice relationship to start with. It was just like, here's a bunch of money. I'll never talk to you. And now it's just like, where's the money? She calls me, and whenever she calls, I like to do this. It's a fun thing. You can really do this with any bills you owe. She calls, and I just pretend like I don't know what she's talking about at all. I make them explain it to me every time, because they have to. They cannot hang up to you. They'll get fired, and then they won't be able to pay their student loans. So I make them explain. They're like, sir, you need to make a payment on your student loan? And I go, no. I don't think I have any student loans? No. I don't have any student loans. And they're like, oh yeah, no, you owe $40,000. Fuck, what? What did I do? And they're like, you got a theater degree? Fuck! Oh, that's terrible. Look, I was drinking for a long time. Theater degree, I think we can all agree that was a drunk idiot that did that. So if it's cool, I'll just return it. I think I'll just return it. I'll send it back, and we're good, right? And they're like, no, it's not about the piece of paper. It's about what you learned. And I was like, but I have it right here, never used. You just take that back, sell it to some other idiot. And also, if it's about what I learned, I think we're good here. And then they say the most audacious thing to you after you have to go over your finances with them and read your receipts. You're like, a Snapple. And they're like, based on how much you say you make and what you say you can spend, I have to say you're kind of an irresponsible spender. And I'm like, who loaned who $40,000 when they did not have a job at all? Like, I don't want to go tit for tat, but I used to have dreadlocks and wear a Sublime t-shirt. You gave that guy $40,000 and he didn't have a job at all. And he came up to you and was like, hey, I want to be an actor. And you're like, oh, this is going to pay out for sure. Yeah. That's why I work for a lot of really rich people. I used to work landscaping for a lot of really rich people, and so I try and learn from them. And the biggest thing I've learned from rich people is fuck rich people. Literally. Try and have sex with them. That's it. Try and fuck rich people. It is the only way out. I cannot be more clear about this. Has anybody heard the term anchor baby before? We ever heard that? Like a way to like keep somebody? Yeah. Remember this, an anchor baby is only an anchor baby if you're the boat, okay? Otherwise, that is a baby with a rope tied to it that leads to a boat. Fuck a rich person, you get a boat. That's how it works. So if anybody wants to go with me to the after party we're having, I'm gonna be doing some boat shopping. I guess, though, I'm just trying to figure out, I'm gonna have this weird point in life where I'm trying to, like, see the next milestones and figure out, like, what the next part in life is. Because I'm not married, and I don't have any kids. I have a lovely girlfriend, but we want to travel, and it's just like when you're not on that usual path, like we graduate college, and then you get a job, and then a lot of people go marriage and kids, and we're not there yet, and I wonder, like, what's the next milestone? And I realize it's when you can look back through your yearbook and go, oh yeah, AJ killed a guy. When you know a murderer, that is a real building stone. A lot of people think it's having kids. No, it's not making life, it's taking life. That's when you know you're an adult. If you guys aren't there yet, don't worry, you'll get there. Like, statistically, you'll get there. But it's true, I grew up down the street from this kid who killed a guy. And it's weird what happened. Like, this is what happened. He was out one night, and he saw his boss at a bar, and he got in a fight with his boss. And after he won the fight, his boss was dead. And so he had to he tried to figure out what to do with the body, and he came up with this idea. He put his boss in his boss's car, and then he parked it on some railroad tracks. Yeah, it kind of seems like a good idea, like a bunch of bad ideas, and then finally one good idea. But here's the weird thing, though, is he parallel parked it on the railroad tracks. And I don't know what the thinking was there. He was like, I don't know which way the train is gonna be coming from. I'll just do it this way. But that also means there was a dude in a car with a corpse at like 2 a.m. in Bethel, Maine going, I just gotta back it in here. I am too close on that side. I'm gonna start again. Hey, tell me when I'm in. Oh, no. Put it in there. And then where he parked it on the tracks was in like the middle of town, and the train only goes like 25 miles an hour. So it totally saw it, hit the brakes, just bumped it. Conductor gets out, he's like, he's dead? Are you fucking kidding me? The airbags didn't go off. How is this guy dead? And then the crazy thing is he got away with the entire thing. He got away with all of it because the cops showed up, and it was the biggest thing to ever happen in this town, and they didn't know what to do, so they touched everything. Bare hands on everything. They were like pressing their face against the window. Holy shit, it's a dead guy. Hey, Bill, give my picture, First dead guy. They ruled it a suicide. To start, he had stab wounds. And in their mind, they're like, this is what happened. Things aren't going well for this guy. Owned a landscaping business. Tough summer. Tough summer. He decides, I'm going to end it all tonight. He pulls up to the railroad tracks and he says, not sure which way the train comes from. I'll just go ahead and make it even. He's sitting there, he's like, all right, here it goes. I just got to sit here, just got to let it happen. Just got to say, oh, here comes the train. It's not going too fast. Maybe it's just real far away. It's taking a while. No, it is not going very fast at all. Is that guy waving at me? Is he waving at me to get out of the way? I'm not going to get out of the way. He's hitting the brakes. The brakes are on. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. And then also got all of the blood out of the car. Maine is the way life should be, you know what I mean? Guy got away with the entire thing. He's up there. I've been going to a bunch of weddings lately, and this was a weird thing that happened at a wedding. I was talking to this woman at the wedding, and somewhere else in the wedding, somebody said the C word, and it was, cunt. They said, some of you were like, ooh, cancer? And no. Somebody said cunt, and the woman I was talking to, she got like really upset. And I was like, rightfully so. And she goes, I'm going to go say something. I was like, oh no, it's a wedding. Don't do it. Like, we don't need to hash that out here. Remember like Janet and Bob? They're good friends of ours. And she goes, no, I'm going to go say something. I was like, well, what are you going to say? And she goes, I'm going to go tell that person that saying the C word around women is like saying the N word around black people. And I was like, okay, don't say that. What else you got? And she was like, why? What do you mean? Why not? Why shouldn't I say that? And I was like, well, just like, historically, it's not, there's like we never called all women the cunts. That's not a thing. Like, Abe Lincoln was never like, what am I gonna do about the cunt problem? Like, I don't know, maybe he was. Mary Todd was crazy. Those are my history fans. But it's like we all had to read a book in elementary school, and it was not about Huckleberry Finn and Cunty Jim rafting down a river. So it was just weird to just be like completely on her side, but also be like, don't be a cunt about the N-word thing. Just let that go. All right, that's enough of a white dude telling women and black people how to feel. I know a lot of you were thinking Jewish, but no, just straight white guy. You were like, oh, skateboard rabbi. Nope, just a white guy. I think lastly, the big thing that really let me know when I kind of hit that new turning point in life, and I was an adult now and is coming into a new part of my life, is when I realized I don't have to hitchhike anymore. Something I don't do anymore, I don't hitchhike anymore. Yeah, I know. A lot of you are like, how did you get here tonight? I rode a bike like a man. But I used to hitchhike all around Maine all the time. And the thing that ended it for me was, I was 19, I got drunk one night, and I thought I could make it to Portland, Maine, and I was about an hour away. And I know now that if you get drunk and think you can do some shit you don't usually do, just jerk off and go to bed. And you're gonna be so happy in the morning you did not do, you're like, I was gonna call who or lift what, and I'm like, just great, I didn't do that. But at 19, I wasn't that smart. So I put my thumb out, I'm drunk and I'm waiting, and the first car pulls by and pulls over. And who here has ever hitchhiked before? We got anybody? Yeah. You know that feeling when the car pulls over of at first extreme excitement, like, oh my God, I have a ride. And then immediate terror of who the fuck would stop and pick me up? Like, who? And so you're just walking up to the car looking for clues about who they are as a person, hoping to see a little stick figure family. That's the best. Well, you don't. You just walk up, see a little stick-figure dude, and you're like, that's not good. Especially if it looks like the family's been violently scraped off. And so I walk up, I open the door, and it's fucking Santa Claus driving. Yeah. And 34-year-old me goes, do not get in that car with dude that looks like Santa Claus at 1 in the morning in Bridgeton, Maine. 19-year-old me goes, I fucking know this dude. Hell yeah, what are the odds? So I get in, I sit down, the seats are leather, and it's nice, and he's just like, how's it going, little fella? And I was like, it's great. He goes, where are you going? I go, I'm trying to go to Portland, Santa. And he goes, well, I'm only going this far. And I was like, you got your rounds, I get it. And then after about 10 minutes, he goes, hey, do you smoke weed? And I was like, Santa, you know everything about me. Yes. I smoke. And again, 34-year-old me is like, oh, don't do drugs with him, too. Get out, get out. 19-year-old me was like, I'm fucking smoking weed with Santa. And we get past where he says he's going. He goes, hey, the joint's still going. What do you say I just give you a ride the rest of the way? And I'm like, fucking on Dasher, on Dancer, on Chevy Tahoe, let's go. And we get just inside the limits, the city limits of Portland, Maine. Everything's been normal. And then he goes, you know, my wife lets me have a boyfriend or two. Yeah, Mrs. Claus does that. And it makes me rethink the whole elf situation now. And he goes, if you want me to, I'll suck your dick. Yeah. And I said, this is where I'm going. That was the best excuse I could come up with, was if only we had more time. But here we are. And he just pulled over and let me out. The man is a saint. But because all I could come up with was if only we had more time, he left there going, I should have asked sooner. That kid was down, and I was a nervous Nick about it, and I fucking let him go. And I was the asshole in that situation. I was. He gave me a ride an hour, smoked his weed with me, offered to suck my dick. Clearly he had been getting my letters, okay? Because at 19, that was all I wanted, was a ride, some weed, and a blowjob. All right, thanks, guys.